Vigilante wins here in the 33rd episode of the Culture Crime Fighters. Man, getting close to 50, getting close to 100. We're not close, but we're just grinding along with those episodes.
On our way to 1,000.
On our way to 1,000. On our way to 1,000. Joined by my main man, my partner in Culture Crime Fighting, nothing else. Matt from Foulball Productions.
Hail, Vigilante Williamson. How you doing, my friend?
New time slot. I think we're both trying to adjust to waking up this awkward time.
Oh my God. This feels like 7 a.m. to me.
Yeah, I was worried it would, and I feel for that. Like, because you're used to working night, and now my schedule is like a night oriented schedule. So I went to sleep like 5, and then you're like, oh, get up.
I mean, when I close down the bar that I work at, I get home at like 4:30.
Yeah.
I'm not in bed. You know what I mean? I'm not asleep till 6:30, sometimes 7.
Yeah.
So this is like the middle of the night. Like stumbling around my apartment.
Oh man, that sucks. That sucks.
It is what it is. But you know what? I sacrifice for these fine people, and here I am, bleeding for you all.
Yeah, with the
to fight culture crime.
You even had to put the Foulball hat on.
Yes, I did.
Are those considered Scullies, or are they now considered beanies? Now the
I think beanie is the word.
Beanie. Now they're just beanies.
Scully sounds too cool. Scully sounds like snowboarder, cool guy. I got my Scully on. Sounds
yeah.
Much.
Yeah. I think that time has passed. They're just beanies now.
Yeah, damn, that was like a time in history.
Yeah.
See, what you credit Tim Pool with the beanie model?
I don't think it's just him. It probably isn't, but I just feel like he's part of the generation that normalized beanie as the phrase.
Like yeah, beanie. I remember when I first moved to LA, like everybody, I would see dudes. It would be like July, and there's dudes wearing beanies. I'm like, well, just in case you get in a cold front, what are you doing?
It's the look.
It's exactly the look.
It's what the kids call drip. They didn't call it that.
Drip.
Then. Yeah, you ever heard drip?
This term? No.
Oh man, making me like I feel old. I think it's been around. Drip is just like
drip.
It's like swag, but it's different. I think.
I don't
drip when you see it.
I do feel old. I'm like, that's not a slang term.
All these
What's wrong with you?
Newfangled phrases the kids are talking about.
I wanted to say what up to the chat.
Hail chat.
Hail. Thanks, Pat S. Says he feels bad for me. He's going to toss us a like. Thanks, Pat S.
Yeah.
No, Pat S. is a mensch. Keep a lookout for some content coming out. I don't know if I can quite announce it, but keep a lookout for some content coming out. It's going to be multi-channel wide. It's going to be pretty fun stuff. So,
okay.
Brought that up for no reason.
Hey.
Go
ahead. Because Chinoculus P said there's more mods in chat, which is another adjustment because it's a different time of day. Not quite the turnout that we normally get during these streams. So
it's a pretty big adjustment. I mean, we moved this show up 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's pretty radical.
It is.
Radical.
Radical, man. Speaking of 2,000 snowboarders.
Yeah. I did want to point out what he said. He said he hadn't seen that intro, which I thought was interesting. Which is cool, which means probably newer viewer.
Well, Chinoculus P, I feel like I've seen. Maybe he's just so used to coming midstream.
Could be.
And he's like never actually seen the beginning. Yeah, thanks for the sacrifice of sleep. You're welcome, Chinoculus P. It's all for you. Almost exclusively you. You and Pat S, because you're the only two in the chat right now. And
Hail, boys. Good to see you. It wasn't like, what's up, Fizz Chozo? See, not the only two. Yeah, well, it wasn't like I was lying in bed looking at the ceiling. I was watching Squid Game or the Squid Game.
Yeah, so I hadn't really seen. Is it a show or a movie? First off,
it's a show. It's a show on Netflix. I think it's 9 episodes.
Okay.
I watched a quite a few of them. I think I'm in the 6th episode right now. Eventually, I had to just be like force myself to go to sleep, and it did actually work.
Okay.
I did. I toyed with not sleeping.
Oh no.
I toyed with, okay, if you just stay awake and then sleep after the show, like
That would be terrible, man.
I know, but I was
You'd
like,
have been dead.
just couldn't sleep. I was just, I'm just not used to going to bed like, before the sun's up. But no, it captivated me.
Really, I know it's like the thing right now. It's like hot thing, and I know next to nothing about it. But just looking it up now, I guess it's like a Korean thing.
It's Korean. It is a
Okay.
Netflix made show, but it is Korean.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a really interesting concept. So I don't want to spoil much because it is really interesting. And the show, what it does well is what it uncovers, each kind of little, like what's around the next corner is very compelling. And it's a compelling part of the show. And I think if I were to give away a lot of that, it would sort of lose some of its punch.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at it, you kind of have a vague idea. Like, if you've ever seen Battle Royale or The Hunger Games,
Yeah, that's what I was getting a vibe like Hunger Games. That's the first thing I thought of.
yeah, there's a different angle on it though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like it's similar. It's that genre for sure,
Yeah,
but there's a different angle on it. And there's a different compulsion for the contestants to be there.
I see.
And it's one of the first shows I've watched in a really long time where I'm authentically interested in watching it. And it's like, excuse me, it's got me hooked.
Yeah, that used to happen a lot more often than once or twice every year, maybe. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God. Remember that's what you would talk to people about. Like, what show are you watching?
Yeah, and everyone had show. Oh, I hadn't heard of this. Oh, yeah, it's this random show that's on Netflix or on Hulu or on the small time where you had those niche, fucking. I mean, I guess you still have them, but those niche, random streaming services that only last like 1 year.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they'd be on there, but yeah, there's not as much shows. But I keep hearing about Squid Game, so I want to check it out.
Well, there are also so many shows you couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah.
It was like an unbelievable amount of shows. It was just, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, I haven't watched that one yet. I'll have to get around to watching that. Oh, geez. Right, I keep hearing so much. Now it's like if you hear anything good, you're like, yeah, are you sure it's good though?
Yeah. Is it just good because you've adjusted your standards with how trash everything else is and therefore you think it's good?
Right,
or is
right.
it
Like,
good?
are we sure it's good? I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw real quick. I saw the Golgo 13's anime.
Hell, Go 13.
Hail! I was on that gentleman's live stream the other day.
Cool.
On his channel. I guess it was Saturday.
Cool.
After the cocktail lounge, I woke up and did a show.
Oh wow!
Also at noon. I really deserve a big pat in the back. I mean,
There
I
you
gotta
go.
be honest.
Pat yourself on the back. What's the guy? Old wrestler Barry Horowitz used to pat himself on the back.
That's great.
Hell, Severon 13. I also saw you sneak in.
Hail.
And I don't recognize the name, but I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Welcome. Hail, hail, hail. Yeah. So the show, like, it had me hooked like pretty immediately, and it did a good job. I thought there was a bit of a lull, like, because they established like this really high bar, like this really compelling, intriguing, action sequence at the end of the first episode, and then there's kind of a lull, I think, but middle of the season they start picking back up again. They really keep you invested in the story. There's another show similar to this called 3%. That was a Brazilian show that came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago. That was really good. The first season was really good. After that, the tone changed. Like the first season was all the competition, and then the second season was like, oh, we made it, so now like it's a different story. And it was like, oh, okay. I didn't find it nearly as compelling, but
It tells their story.
Yeah, well, now the genre changed.
Yeah.
Like it was this competition story. It's weird how that's a genre. These sort of like gladiator games, in a dystopic future to acquire, like to get some sort of glory or like a narrow prize. It's weird how that's become a genre.
Yeah, I hope it's not predictive programming and only allegorical. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we got to fight on the streets to survive for the entertainment of the masses and the elites.
I tell you, man, there is some there's some Illuminati confirmed type stuff in this show.
Oh no!
Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But there is like this one, like not statue but thing, and it's just like a man's suit, but then like it's like a diamond encrusted bunny head. And it's very much I don't understand that level of it, but there is something like where it's that, like, I don't know, did you see Happy, the comic book adaptation movie with Patton Oswalt and that guy from like Law and Order? No. Fucking great, dark as shit. Like bleak.
Of course, something called Happy is super dark.
There's like this meth Santa that kidnaps a girl, and that's like that's driving the whole narrative. And the meth Santa is horrifying. Like, it's really disturbing. And then there's like this whole entertainment industry sex cult. Like, it's really intense.
Fuck.
But I'm like, wow. I'm like, hey guys, take it easy. Like, you can't be that. You can't let them know. You gotta like tone it down. They're gonna come kill you. But there was also that kind of like anthropomorphized animals in that little sex cult thing, with like human. Man. Yeah, it was really wild. It was like one of those consistent threads, and there's some of that in this. But it reminded what it reminded me of too a little bit was a BBC show that fucking stupid Senjin Dildo made us watch.
Oh, Utopia?
Utopia, yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm starting to hear more about because of how fucked up life is. But that's another tangent. You're starting to see. Oh yeah.
Oh, people are starting to connect the dots.
Yeah.
This feels similar. There's something similar about it where you're like, oh, this is entertaining. You're like, hey, that's a little creepy. What's up with that?
Yeah.
But it is ultimately, it's a good show. The acting is terrific. The writing's great. People really talk the way they would talk. They make the decisions that people would make. Like, they make logical choices, and like, everything, like the writing is tight. It really does feel like a writer is exploring a concept. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like someone playing by the rules they're supposed to play by.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting kind of, it's a dark contrast between, like what they're doing and versus like the origin of like the games and stuff. Like, I don't want to give away too much just because it is fun to watch it unravel. Like, it's fun to like part of the mystery for each time they play a game is what game are they going to play. And so I don't want to give away the games because I don't want to take that from you because it's really fun.
Yeah. That's cool. You know what I was thinking though? I was thinking like, okay, this is a South Korean show. You talked about the writer. Sounds like he's actually going through and writing.
He?
You know what I mean? Or
how presumptuous.
I'm sorry.
Could be a they. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I apologize on behalf of the culture crime fighters. I want to take this opportunity to apologize to all of you who may have been offended by my partner's egregious comments.
Excuse me. How dare I? But you know why you should do that is because writers in other countries, their women tend to write better than ours.
That's absolutely true. So sorry to interrupt you, but the creator is Hwang Dong-hyuk. I don't know if that's a man or a woman.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure.
Not sure.
We're not trying to get canceled, at least not this episode. We just don't know. Just blame us, our poor American education system.
Or that it's just a foreign country and I don't know everything about it.
Well, you're supposed to.
Is that possible?
Damn bigot. But no,
it's a guy.
It's a guy. Okay. So I was right.
You're right.
With my assumption. But no, there are female writers that are really good. Again, especially from other countries. It just seems like in general, other countries are better at entertainment at this point than we are.
Korea does some great stuff. Like, there's that show that they do called The Kingdom that I frickin' adore.
Mm-hmm. I've heard other people talk about that.
It's awesome. It's zombies and samurai swords.
What
I mean,
more
what
do you
else do you
need?
need?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not corny. It's actually like spectacular. Like some of the stuff that comes out of Korea is unbelievable. Like the writing is spectacular. The acting is incredible. Their cinema craft, like the look of things is second to none. Like they really are. Some of the Korean stuff that comes out is like out fucking standing.
So I mean, my thought is if they're able to do it, why can't we do it as a not necessarily the mainstream? We already know Fish Chozo's kind of talked about it. He says in America, the only women that are hired to our entertainment are feminists, and they are indeed.
Do you want to know
And
why I think?
why? Go ahead.
I think it's a few things. One, I do not think that the wokeness has infected their culture the way it's infected ours.
Agreed. Agreed.
There's like, and I think it has to do with it's more of a homogenized culture. I think it has to do with the fact that they're all Koreans.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They look similar. They identify with a central culture, a central history. They're all on the same page.
Yeah. And real quick, just to digress, Nelson the gentleman sent a tip. I appreciate it. Just a tip. Is anonymous, half evil tip. And speaking of whole evil, we have a Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast, in the chat. So hell. Nelson said, gonna watch the replay later. Have a good stream. Remember that anyone who opposes critical race theory is a terrorist. And I actually covered that yesterday.
Did you?
The government is going after parents who don't like critical race theory. The FBI is. So
I saw
that. Evil. Just kidding. Fuck those people with a fruit basket. Thanks for all you do, guys. Thank you, Nelson. I appreciate it. I imagine a lot of people might watch the replay because of the time. But thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, also, you could listen to this replay on Spotify or iTunes or Google Podcasts because that's where we can find the Culture Crime Fighters.
There you go. Yeah, we're big in Barbados, so we're trying to get big everywhere else too.
I want to make that a T-shirt.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Homogenized culture tend to be more resistant to that because it's the thing with American culture is everything in American culture is only 10 years old. There's like there are some whole things that used to be at least passed down generation by generation, but so much of it is stuff that is identified with stuff that's recent. I said the word drip earlier. I can't remember if it was on stream or not. And you're like, what the hell is drip? But that's modern culture. It's right now. It doesn't have that history of like my grandfather's grandfather was a part of this culture sort of thing. It was like whatever my grandfather's grandfather, it was a totally different world in America.
Well, there's that, and there's no way to claim identity politics because there's no.
That's true.
Everyone's the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like a similar, a shared ethnicity, a shared nationalism. It's like there's not like even like South Koreans and North Koreans. There's like this empathy for the other side. You know what I mean? Like it's the South for the North, where they will send like little like thumb drives and stuff like that in bottles across the river so that maybe people on the other side can get it and see a glimpse of life outside. Like they identify with them, even though it's completely different culture. They still see themselves each other as Koreans. So there's like this. So you can't play that. Like there is no card to play identity politics. I'm sure there's some woke South Koreans. I mean, apparently
feminism still exists.
Feminism still exists, and apparently, like the what's that genre of music? The K-pop or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently, those people are fucking crazy. When they get on some kind of woke cause, they mobilize.
Really?
Yeah, I heard they go effing crazy. Like there was that guy who's Filthy Frank. You remember that guy?
Yeah, he was a YouTube dude.
Yeah, now he's a K-pop star. And
really?
And I guess they discovered something in his past, some of the Filthy Frank sketches, and holy shit, they lost it.
I did not know Filthy Frank was a K-pop star. I only remember him from his old sketches back in the day.
I did not. That was surprising for me to learn as well.
Holy smokes. The world is different. Did somebody like change the world while I was asleep one day and like gradually they just reload everything?
We're in a different universe. It's the only way to explain it.
It makes more sense that way. It really does feel like we're in a different universe. And they fire up a machine and change it every so often.
I was listening to, who was it? It was, I was listening to Chrissy Mayer's podcast, and she had on Gavin McInnes. And Gavin McInnes was talking about
Singularity.
Well, he was talking about this guy. Fuck, I can't remember his name, but he was praising him as being this genius. He was saying how like his books are so dense in a good way that you kind of have to like set your whole day aside to read them. But then somehow he ended up with this show and started creating like this terrible entertainment. Like he couldn't. Like I think I have to show it to you show it to you for you to believe it, because it was unbelievably bad, and I don't have really the context to set this up. Yeah, right. Mark Stein, that's his name, Mark Stein, and so like it. Apparently, he's like this incredible. I don't know if it's economics or politics that he has this insane insight. Like he's like mind-boggling. He's like on Fox News, and there was some. I'm paraphrasing everything Gavin said right now, so if I get some facts wrong, I apologize. Yeah. But apparently, he like was hired by some billionaire who like pretty much gave him like unlimited resources to create like a really interesting show. And instead of him creating an interesting show, he created this like insane like song and dance stuff that's bafflingly bad.
What?
Yeah, so like this guy who's like a political like if you just Google Mark Stein, and he spells it weird, Steyn. He's a Canadian author. He's a conservative author. He's written several books, New York Times bestsellers, America Alone, like stuff like. He's known for like his political commentator. What the fuck?
Commentary.
That's the word, commentary. But he's guest hosted Rush Limbaugh, Tucker Carlson. Like he's esteemed in that world, right? And so, but additionally, he's also made this as entertainment. This is a real thing that this guy created. I can't explain this. This is real. He really made this. I don't think it's a joke.
It sounds like Sting.
It does sound like Sting, but listen to how this goes.
I thought I saw a pussycat a-creeping up on me.
Nicholas P. knew.
I don't have the words.
Art,
I thought I saw a pussycat. 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 I thought I saw a pussycat a-creeping up on me. I did. I saw a pussycat as plain as he could be.
And the only explanation I have for this is that he's from a different dimension where they find this kind of thing entertaining. Like, because none of this makes any fucking sense.
So, like, I wasn't expecting this. So, what I was expecting, firstly, before I get into what I was expecting, I wanted to, speaking of something unexpected, Man of War 665 neighbor of the beast. We're talking about the Illuminati earlier. Get your neighbor. He tips the branded 665 super chat, and he says, perhaps if you were to don a dress, it would expand your horizons as well, VW. I think he's talking about the clip you put on your channel.
You think that's maybe what he's getting at?
Yeah. So thank you for that super chat. At least that had logic to it. When you said song and dance, I thought, okay, not to stereotype, you said conservative writer. I said he's probably boomerish, maybe like something show tunes ish. You know what I mean? Like dancing song, like, okay, I can get it. Maybe he's just trying to, I don't know, like big band.
Dude, this is
hipster art.
I don't even know what it is.
It's
like
he's not good.
It's not good. He's not a good singer. I mean, listen to the lyrics of this.
He's watching you.
Whoa, he has a choir.
Is very bad. He sneaks up from behind. I don't think I would like it if I knew what's on his mind.
What?
I
What
have
is
a strong
going on?
suspicion that his plans for me aren't good.
Like, this is so absurd. I really cannot come up to another conclusion that he is, like, our universes have blended in a incompatible way. Like, there's like a mistake. There's like a glitch in the matrix. And like, this guy is like such a genius. Like, and I think he thinks, you know, in the dimension he comes from, this is entertaining, and like, wait till they get a load of what's really exciting. I don't know how else to interpret this kind of a thing.
This is very bizarre, man. This is bizarre, especially with the like, if you told me he's just like a YouTube troll or something, like I do weird shit for YouTube attention or internet attention, like, yeah,
of course,
this fits. I mean, maybe it's just a draw and allure of a modern era. We always blame, you know, a certain generation. It's those damn Zoomers, it's those damn millennials. But sometimes, as you can see, boomers get a taste of that I don't know what it is. I just want to be seen by people. And maybe he thought, you know what, let's do something. Let's do a meme. Let's go for a meme. I
doubt it, because if you Google Mark Stein, it's not even in the top like 20 videos. Like, it's there's, I guess, you know, his old show, but it's like all his Fox News appearances. He's got an episode with Jordan Peterson. Like, he's not a silly guy. Like, he's a very serious person. Like, and he does these like legitimate interviews and things.
Man, this is weird. I'm now checking his Wikipedia because I'm like, who is this human? Like, how did he? It doesn't even show up, this thing. So how did it happen?
I don't know, and I can't understand. Dude, this is from Mark Stein's new album, Feline Groovy, Songs for Swingin' Cats.
Maybe he's a cat guy? Because I need an explanation. That's all. Just you know what? I'm a weird motherfucker, and I just do weird shit. I don't get it, man.
If this is like ironic, it's like Andy. What's that Man on the Moon guy?
Andy. Oh man, I know who you're talking about. Andy Kaufman. Andy
Kaufman level irony. Like, this is a whole other level. Like, he's a comedic genius if that's the case. Because there's not the slightest wink in this video. Not even a little bit.
I am inclined to think that he would get me if he could.
He's watching you.
I thought I saw a pussycat a-creeping up on me. I did. I saw a pussycat as plain as he could be.
Like, what the fuck? There's not a single wink or nod. It's like he means it.
You want to know something else? I don't think he's the only one from that alternate universe. Have you checked it out on Amazon?
No.
Fucking 4.6 out of 5 stars, the album.
What?
The people love it.
What is going on?
The people fuck with it.
Do they mean it? Are they ironic reviews?
I don't. They could listen. They could all be bots for all the fuck I know. But let me just take one. This is ironically for somebody named Karen M. She said, I was initially looking for books by Mark Stein. I was so surprised they also engaged in musical endeavors. I ordered the CD as a Christmas present to a fellow cat fancier, but ended up keeping the first one for myself since I have ordered 2 more for gifts. The music is uplifting and the lyrics are terrific, especially for anyone who has been fond of one or more cats. There's more to it. It's a 5-star review.
Dude, this is like learning like that half the population's aliens, like, and they live, where you just put on the glasses and you're like, wait, what? How is this the world?
Jeez.
No, you're right. Every single review is like 5 stars. There's one from Little Jerry, says both clever
I'm just gonna read that one.
both clever and deep. Musically complex. It's a ripoff of what, like a Sting or the Police. Like, the Police, it's not complex. It's a theft. Words are delightful and have levels of meaning. Tunes can be be best appreciated by someone who is well trained in music, a CD that you will want to play many times to discern all the layers. Is there something I'm missing? Like maybe
he's like this is his Radiohead album, so he's so deep and complex. You just don't understand, man.
Oh,
and the worst thing, it didn't sound like the Police. It sounded like, okay, we need a song that sounds like the Police, but we can't do it, and so here's the Police. Yeah, you guys in the chat got Kaufman.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you the timing was, but yeah. Thomas Sowell has a 1978 country album. Is that a joke?
I didn't want to.
Please tell me no. I
That's
hope not.
just what.
Oh no. I
didn't
like
know
Thomas
stuff
Sowell.
like that.
What the hell?
Nothing comes up when you Google it.
Hopefully that was a joke. I'm taking it as a joke
Please, dear God.
because we can't live in a world
unless
you're from that same alternate universe.
Maybe he is from an alternate universe. Where
So when is
Thomas
Ben
Sowell...
Shapiro's rap album dropping?
He's got bars, yo.
He's got bars. Rap album. it must happen.
Oh no. But like the reason I just went on that little tangent was because I was like listening to that. I'm like, the only explanation for this is leftover from alternate reality where this is entertaining.
And apparently some of the people are from that same reality because like they're having fun with this. Or there's a gimmick, there's a movement we don't get. Maybe it's something about cats. I know, cats are really popular.
I have my cat right here. His name is Luke. I adore him. I feel there's no connection with me in this fucking song.
You're not part of the like cat community though. Like you're just a cat lover.
Guess?
You're a cat normie. You're not like a cat diehard apparently. So that's
okay. That's fair.
Why
enough.
you don't understand the genius that is Mark Stein.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. I can accept that.
I need a better explanation to the appeal. I think I'm more shocked. It was shocking enough that this weird conservative, is distinguished author has a cat album, but the fact that people fuck with it is bizarre.
Yeah, like I was hoping there was like an ironic twist in it, but I don't think there is.
Maybe the point is that he doesn't wink. He plays it seriously, and that's the joke, and we just don't get it.
Yeah, maybe people stand for him because they like his commentary.
Maybe.
That is, I got to be honest, as much as we trash the left for being, zealots, the right is extremely zealous too when it comes to their people. Like they can do no wrong. Everything they've ever thought and said is correct.
Maybe.
And it's just like so maybe. What's up, Kai MFS?
Hell, Kai.
Another fellow Mohawker.
There you go. And an author, please buy his stuff. And Fitz Chozo's an author. I forgot to. Fitz Chozo has a not GoFundMe with the Indiegogo. If he's still here, someone please promote that. So yeah, shout out to the creators in the chat. We appreciate you guys.
Hail.
So yeah, that was an experience I didn't know I needed.
I couldn't believe it. Like I was just listening to Chrissy's show, and I was just like, "What is this?" Like I had to stop and look this up, and like I couldn't I honestly couldn't mentally process it. I'm like, because the intro that Gavin gave him was like Thomas Sowell-esque.
Yeah,
he's that impactful, and then he has this, and you're like, "What?"
Well, I mean, people are fucking weird. I couldn't tell you. I came up with an idea of wearing a fucking shitty domino mask with like whatever it is tied to my face, which I don't even have one right now. I guess I could toss it on. But like people are that's his gimmick. That's his thing. You can't just.
But it's not. His gimmick is being a conservative commentator. This is like.
Well, that's his like.
This is like as if.
Gimmick.
But it's like this feels like as if how some people just paint for fun, it's like a hobby. But this is like his hobby, but financed by like Capitol Records.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
Really
that's the weirdest part. Because you said like somebody financed this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess what Gavin said, and I'm just literally paraphrasing everything Gavin said. I did no follow up research, but is that apparently when he turned this stuff in, they're like, "You're fired. Like this is not at all what we hired you for. What is all this shit?" And so that's what Gavin said. Gavin's a maniac. You ever listen to him?
I've heard of him. Gavin thought he had multiple personality disorder. And Hail Janet from another
I
planet.
think he's a four-headed alien from a different dimension. That's what I think.
Gavin or
Oh,
Stein?
no, the Mark Stein.
Stein. Maybe he is. I don't know.
I
Gavin,
think like he comes from a dimension where their thought is super advanced. That's why he can write a book and have such searing insight. But like their entertainment is like 1,000 years behind their civilization. So to them, this is Shakespeare.
well, because they're focused on thought. As far as Gavin, it's weird to see Gavin McGinnis go from like just a comedian on the internet to like the leader of a white supremacy group.
Well, he's
That
not.
was well, not anymore. He's not the leader because technically, it's,
But he's not really a comedian. He founded Vice.
yeah, I do remember that he founded Vice and then had to sell for way less than everyone else did because he sold early because of I forgot what was the reason, some controversy.
I don't know that I would describe him as a comedian, though. I mean, he's funny, but I wouldn't call him a comedian. Does he do stand-up? I don't think he does
No, you're
stand-up.
probably right. I thought, listen, I guess from my context of like being introduced to him back in the day, I just thought of him as like, okay, I guess you're right. He's more of a commentator. But it's weird to see him have become, because with the Proud. I remember when the Proud Boys were just still a joke. And then like years later, as recently as last year, it was, oh, the Proud Boys, this group. I'm like, is that the same fucking group the weird guy who used to own Vice made?
Oh, I guess he does do some stand-up. I Googled a little bit of it. But yeah, no, well, I think actually the whole Proud Boys thing started on...
I know Wookiee.
yes,
joking.
we know Wookiee supremacy. We know. We're not trying to... Obviously, we're not going to run with that narrative. But I think the whole thing started on Anthony Cumia's network.
Did it?
Yeah, there was like some
Wasn't
producer.
it like a feminist or something like that? Or women or something?
No, there was just some producer that I guess was like just kind of like a schlub and like wasn't getting girls, but like didn't take care of himself or whatever. And Gavin started calling him a proud boy, like being like from this old movie called like Proud of Your Boy or something like that. And it just kind of was like an in-studio joke, and then somehow became like a group of guys who I think it was kind of like maybe a slightly more aggressive Jordan Peterson kind of thing, where it was just kind of men, you know what I mean, like supporting each other and like meeting up, and it was probably like anti-SJW at its core.
The first thing I remember seeing them, not to cut you, I just remember seeing them at some like, and this is a while ago, like 2014-ish or 15-ish, and they were just like some feminist something they were fucking with. But they weren't like doing anything like violent. They were just talking shit and like cracking jokes at. And I don't remember what it was, but I was not like hardcore into Gavin McGinnis or the Proud Boys. This is me just like clicking and passing at whatever the hell else I was looking at on YouTube at the time.
I think they maybe clashed with Antifa a few times, and as I understand it, like Gavin maybe encouraged them to physically fight back. Like I said, I'm. This is not. I don't have these facts. This is just sort of what I heard. But so I don't know. It became something it was never intended to be.
Yeah,
it became like a movement, and I would like. Apparently, it got hijacked by white supremacists. I would tend to believe it got infiltrated by agents pretending to be white supremacists to destroy any kind of
chance.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. But or it genuinely did get hijacked by white supremacists. I mean, good movements get hijacked all the time. But yeah, so I guess he's just an entity now. I guess he's got his own TV show or his own YouTube show.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I'm not even sure about the white supremacy. I think a lot of that was narrative, but I honestly, I thought my whole thing was I didn't understand why they kept doing stuff. Like why it's like I don't know.
Trinoculus P. They were a men's drinking club that wouldn't bow to leftist pressure. They were, of course, characterized as alt-right. Yeah, well, of course, yeah. Yeah.
Stirred up the radicals and words, and they got attacked and fought back. I see. Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that makes sense. I mean, we so much of the reason we're here and we gravitate to a flock towards like Gary and stuff like that is because of that exact same reason.
Yeah.
Trying to escape leftist pressure.
Yeah, the leftists have destroyed everything and ruined
Mhm.
everything and pushed at everything to the point. This episode beforehand, we were like, do we really want to talk about all this woke stuff? Because they've
Yeah.
destroyed so much. Everything is woke. Everyone is a gay character or
And I don't have
race
the
bar.
energy to come on here and get like upset about every little. I don't even. I feel bored. I'm like, okay, of course, water's wet. Hollywood's woke. We know.
Yes, yeah. Because they've been doing it for so long now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's even though there was one story, it didn't have to do with what we can talk about in a second about the strike thing. Did you see that?
Strike.
It's a IATSE. It's a Hollywood strike.
Oh, are they striking? No, I hadn't heard this.
Oh, you didn't hear this?
I remember like a few months ago, they were resisting like the jab mandates.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of released a letter like, under no circumstances are we collectively as a union
that.
endorsing this. I remember that came out. And I
that,
wasn't
yeah.
sure how much of that was like a few people who were like, no, or that was the collective sentiment of that group. But yeah, I'd like to see.
Okay, well, actually, there was an update that they're going to they're trying to stop striking. They're trying to do something to save the strike. So let me see if I can find that one.
How long have they been striking for?
They haven't. They just voted to strike,
Oh, okay.
so they haven't actually.
Now, just to fill in the audience, this is like a group of like lighting techs and shit like that, right? Like it's a union of like is it theater labor or is it filmmaking labor?
It's filmmaking. It includes filmmaking. I think it started off as like a theater union, but it includes basically all the elements of filmmaking that you're not thinking about, sort of, or that the normal person, like, we only think about directors, actors. And that's all we know. We don't think about the lighting, like you said, lighting tech, people who build sets, or people who do all the other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So let me
The
see
nuts and bolts, the actual
Yeah.
work that goes in, and it is work. I've worked crew on a lot of sets. It's fucking work. It's a job.
Yeah. So actually, let me.
This piece says almost all blue collar trades in Hollywood.
Yeah. They are
Says
really the blue collar
Drivers
trades.
and techs and carpenters and all that shit.
Yeah. Okay, let me share it, and then this is a deadline article. We can talk a little bit about it because I didn't know. You're a little bit more knowledgeable about Hollywood than I am. So I didn't know what your thoughts were. So they agreed to resume bargaining. So they are still talking, but they have voted for a strike. The INTSE and I guess all these damn anagrams. AMPTP. They've agreed to return to the bargaining table on Tuesday following the union's historic strike authorization vote. And apparently this is the first time they voted to strike in their history.
So they did collectively say we are going to strike.
Yes. And
can you open that article and just figure out exactly did they announce why? Because I want to know exactly why, and I don't want to assume anything.
Yeah. An overwhelming show of union solidarity. ITSE members have voted to authorize national strike against film and TV productions. 98% in favor.
98%. Look, they will not explain why. They're not telling you why. They don't want to let you know that there's this many people.
They say this vote is about quality of life as well as health and safety of those who work. In the film industry, our people have basic human needs like time for meal breaks, adequate sleep in the weekend. Those for the bottom of the pay scale deserve nothing less than a living wage. So that's
the official line. I don't think that's the reason. Because they released that letter.
You think it might be COOF related?
They said on no uncertain terms are we forcing our union members to do this.
Yeah.
They said that themselves. I'm not interpreting it.
You're right. They sure did. I think we might even covered it.
We did cover it.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that angle.
It's COOF related. This is not about. I mean, I'm sure that's the narrative, but that's not why they're doing it. I don't think.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even
see if I can find that letter.
Yeah. I'm trying to look to see if there's anything else, like any other reasoning given. And so they had a 90% turnout, almost, or 89.66%, and 98% say yes. So most of that's a overwhelming majority of their voter base, and that union voted to strike. Um, they talk about these two contracts. Um, okay, it says there are actually two contracts issue, and I'm not a Hollywood guy. Hollywood Basic Agreement, which covers 13 West Coast locals or local studios, and the Area Standards Agreement covering 23 locals outside of LA. Under the union's electoral college voting rules, each local gets as many delegates quantity size for a local to pass a strike. Authorization, at least 75% of those voting must say yes. If that threshold has been met, all of the delegates voted are counted no. So there's everything to vote to. They require a high amount of people wanting to strike to strike. It's not something they can just do. Is basically the way it's set up.
Yeah, so this was a rumor, I guess. Maybe we covered it was Bounding in the Comics.
Yeah.
And this was a full letter reprinted by, it says Howley. According to an anonymous source who allegedly spoke with National Foul reporter Patrick Howley, I guess that's the reporter? I'm not sure. An anonymous letter has begun circulating amongst Hollywood IATSE crews via text message, which indicates that Hollywood Union crew members are fed up with the leadership and are now organizing against their own union. They are angry about the mandates.
That's right.
Implement mandatory vaccine policies. Hollywood may lose a bunch of its workers. So there is a letter, and it's clearly like, unless someone is really good at making this up. You want me to
share it? Yeah, so I can show it on the screen.
Yeah. And it's dear Representative, we feel compelled to write about recent concerns we have, both behalf of our coworkers, blah, blah, blah. Dangerous, this, that, and the other. Complete rejection of any and all vaccine mandates. Complete rejection of all any and all vaccine status inquiries by employer.
Wow.
This is about fucking COVID, bro.
Wow, I did not put two and two together, man. I forgot all about that story. I forgot that. Wow.
Yeah. They are
You're
resisting.
Right. They are resisting in a major way.
98% of them are like, fuck you.
Wow.
That's baller.
That is, you know what? It's good to see that there's pushback amongst people about a lot of this craziness. I hope it accounts for something. And in this case, what the fuck is Hollywood going to do without its workers?
It can't. That's why they're returning right to the bargaining table.
Yeah, they kind of have no choice in this, right? Like, they could never replace all of those unless they just want everything to be shitty for like 5 years while they train everyone.
Janet from Another Planet, are you an actress? Says every time I get a casting notice, they ask me if I get the jab, and I say no, and they do not call you back. Yeah, if you're in LA doing anything, I'm no longer in LA, but I was in LA for 10 years, and I still get emails from like catering gigs or like, whatever day acting gig or whatever, and every single one of them is mandatory vax.
And Pat, that's just the 2% they're on the take.
I mean, if it was 100%, that would be weird.
Yeah.
98 is still pretty. That's a lot.
That's still incredibly high. And yeah, she does act. It does stand in act work. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yep, that's universal, man. My buddy was doing some soap opera during Stephen Martyr. He was doing he was doing some what's it called soap opera work, and he was like, it's insane, dude. Like the way you had to you had to put your mask on in between takes. Like you had to stand like all this distance. It was like militaristic. I'm like, yeah, that seems like a nice relaxed working environment.
Jesus Christ. And I guess she works out of NOLA. So I'm not good old New Orleans. That seems crazy. And I know that's how they've been working in Hollywood with all these crazy restrictions. Remember Tom Cruise spazzing out because he didn't want to get his production shut down.
Yeah.
Which you kind of felt for him because he's got money on the table. He doesn't want to fuck up his movie, but it's also like this is an inhuman way of working on top of it.
And it's not fair. Like it's like he's freaking out on them for like following these draconian measures, that are so restrictive and like irrational and just
Yeah.
all about fear and control. And it's like, well, maybe freak out at the people who are making you do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to adhere. There's no law that's saying you have to do this. This is your own thing. If you guys decide to shoot, you can. Like, it's up to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of it is Hollywood is so in bed with a certain side of the political aisle,
Oopsie.
like so in bed, so much so that they may have helped get that guy. Speaking of Gavin Newsom, they may have helped in a big way him staying in office.
Oh, 100%.
So they're not going to just shift their look. I mean, shit, you see those politicians all the time. They'll wear masks when they're being filmed, and then right afterwards they take it off. But that doesn't matter. They still have to show that the mask is important. I saw the fucking, can't even tell you what it was. I think it was some sort of band, either jazz or orchestra. They had the little mask with a slit in it. I'm like, well, what's the point of the mask?
I mean, it's all a virtue signal. It's despicable. And you see it like until they go to the Emmys. Until it affects how they look, or the Met Gala. Then they're like, oh, it's fine. It's like, just get fucked.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go back to the main article now that we kind of like...
Oh, yeah, we could go back to the actual article where it's...
Because if this is accurate to how we're interpreting it, this is like culturally important.
It is. It is, because actually this is around the section we were at. It's I wonder how the entertainment industry is going to frame reporting of it. They're probably not going to report on it, but I don't know how they can not report on it because they need to exist. They need these workers. But I mean, because everything has been, if you're not trying to get jabbed 24/7, you're a part of the problem. You're a terrorist. You're a domestic terrorist if you don't want to jab. So what are they going to do with like a union where a group of people saying, no, we will stop working altogether before we get the jab? And we've seen that even in some medical professionals, some places where they now they have worker shortages because of these jab mandates. It's like, well, you fucking caused them. You know what I mean? So it is a real weird, not weird, but it's interesting to see how this is going to be spun by the same political overlords who.
Well, you know what's weird is I'm looking at Bounding in the Comics article about it right now. He hasn't even connected that.
Huh.
Like he doesn't even mention that there was a rumor going around. Like he doesn't even mention it. He just reports on it as if it was reported on. That's weird.
Huh. Well, you're smarter than Bounding. You're that investigating guy who's able to
connect the dots.
Usually they sometimes annoyingly at times connect every article they've ever written to what they're writing. You're right, they didn't connect.
Well,
that one.
it's kind of weird because the only reason I even know about the other one is because they released it. So that's strange. But all right, I mean, I don't know.
So back to the actual article, Loeb, who's he's the representative. He says the strong turnout will send a clear, decisive message to management and strengthen his hand at the bargaining table. Show solidarity, let companies know the members are willing to walk out over what many believe to be basic human rights. He keeps going back to meal breaks, rests, pension, health benefits, and raises as far as his reasoning. They say we are at a stage where the employers have made this struggle about power, not reason. Therefore, we are initiating a strike vote to authorize me to call one if necessary. It is crucial that every member understand the seriousness of this matter and return their ballot in favor of a strike vote. This is beforehand, it looks like. Let me see. Throughout the bargaining process, the union has said the AMTP failed to work with us on addressing its most grievous problem in the workplaces, including excessively unsafe, harmful work hours, unlivable wages for lower paid crafts, consistent failure to provide reasonable rest during meal breaks, between work days and on weekends, and certain new media streaming projects get paid less, even on production budgets that rival or exceed those traditionally released blockbusters. So this is they're not mentioning
Not even a
that
little
in the
bit.
reason. Yeah,
I don't know.
think you're right.
That seems like a fucking pretty big goddamn coincidence.
Yeah,
Like they released somehow this like inter union text letter gets released and is like fuck all that, no way, and then a few weeks later they're striking.
this is interesting, and then it's
Tremendous coincidence.
yeah, and it's the first strike in history. How long ago was that bounding article?
Good question.
Because this is the actual bounding.
August 17th.
Like 2 months. Mm-hmm. So 2 months later, from those rumors, they're ready to strike, and at a 98% clip as far as votes, 90% turnout. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder. I think that's a huge dot to connect, and I'm surprised it's not being connected otherwise.
Me too.
Yeah. And what the fuck is what is the entertainment industry going to do about this?
I don't know.
Because my guess is they're going to try to like somebody said hire scabs. That's my guess is what they're going to do. They're just going to say fuck everyone.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, some of these trades are really skilled. It's like it's not just like
You can't just find
labor.
another guy to do exactly what certain people do. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, and like these unions do not fuck around with blackballing scabs.
Yeah.
Oh no. Like you'll never work again.
Yeah. If you were to work as a scab.
Yeah.
Huh. Man, I don't know how this is going to end.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is very interesting, and I wonder what it is, what it's going to do to Hollywood, because I don't see them changing, and I don't see them not pushing for mandates. You know what I mean? Still, I don't see if that is the reason. This is all speculation. It's not listed anywhere officially. But if that's the reason, I don't know that they're going to bend the knee from the Hollywood side on that, because that's against the code. That's against brand.
I don't think
on that.
It sounds like they're doing it, but they're not going to say they're doing it, and that's probably their like compromise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're probably like, okay, listen, you're not going to force us all to do this, but we're not going to publicly say we're not doing it.
Yeah.
So like for that reason. So that's the compromise. We're still striking. Go fuck yourself. But our compromise is we're not going to let people, we're not going to, fuck with your narrative so much. You're just not forcing us to do it. Okay. No. All right. Well, we strike.
Yeah. And well, I mean, they haven't, I guess they technically haven't officially strike because they voted on a strike. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to resume bargaining, at least as of yesterday, to avoid the actual strike happening.
There's an article that just came out 2 hours ago that says last-ditch efforts to avert a strike. They resumed bargaining after working all day Tuesday to avert a threatened nationwide strike against film and television productions.
Did it say whether they're successful or they're still ongoing?
Just that they're still talking. Yeah, I don't see anything, any kind of update other than they're just still talking.
Yeah. That's interesting, man.
That is very interesting. I think there's something to that. I do think there's something in connection with the coof.
Good catch, because I did not catch that, and I was on the same show. It was only 2 months ago. I was just like, dude, totally forgot that. But you're 100% right. They were very resistant, and now they strike, and I can't help but to think like you that these are definitely related. And
I would think so.
We'll see what happens, man. Wookie says Hollywood needs to slide in the ocean. I don't give a fuck about those people. I mean, a lot of people in this union are the least pretentious, hardest working individuals in Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like the laborers. They're like
Yeah.
the blue collar, probably a bunch of, conservative types and stuff like that. Just more like work-a-day guys who don't give a fuck about the politics of the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. But now I see people talking about New Orleans because Janet from the Planet just has a lot of friends who don't want to leave New Orleans, but the left are killing that town. They're killing every major city,
Yes,
unfortunately.
they are. Yes, they are.
That sucks because like you were so used to living in major cities, and they all are like destroying leftist hellholes. All
Yeah,
of them.
it's so much different than it used to be. Like I lived in New York when I first got out of. I went to college in New York City and then lived there for a few years, and like. You could in college, you could see it was coming. Like I took like I told you this, I took like a gender studies course because I was so naive because I didn't know what the hell that was. Like I didn't know I didn't know what it meant. Like I didn't understand what the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
I was a sociology major, so I'm just taking. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like the difference between, like the gender
The two
roles.
genders that they
Yeah.
currently are, and they're always have
And
been.
we're just
going
gonna explore gender roles. We're not pointing any fingers. And then the entire class was white men are bad. I mean, that was the whole class. And I'm just like, I'm sitting in here. I'm in the class. How could if that's the case, I'm not one of them, obviously, because here I am to learn. But that doesn't matter. It's like you're born with that sin. And so that and my other like social class was literally it was a war on like this ideology. Like I'm just sitting here. I'm just like, how can you say like fight? And they everybody was programmed. But aside from that, the city wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. Like there were people that held those beliefs, but it was way more sparse. It wasn't like this collectivist. We all share these same, universal views on the world. It was just, they're like liberals, but like acceptable. Like I didn't even notice it until I moved to LA. That's when it it really got fucking nuts. And that was in 2011. And I just remember being in LA, just being like after my first few years there, I was like, you guys are so. I campaigned for Obama. Like I considered myself like an aggressive liberal, and I'm like, you guys are so liberal, you're turning me conservative. Like you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then over the years developed like a different point of view, just kind of a little more balanced, like a little more in the middle. But like it felt. LA always felt like that to me. LA always felt like this exclusive kind of mindset. And I would just have these debates with people. You think you're debating individuals.
Yeah. You're debating a damn board.
Exactly. You're debating the Borg. You're debating an ideology. You're debating a school of thought that is never wrong, doesn't listen, doesn't compromise. And it took me years to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, I'm really just talking about how they run these cities now and how they're all like, one, shitty and like homeless filled, and two, like we were just talking about how these restrictions. A lot of times you'll see them in cities, and even in Texas, like the city, like Austin, will do something. Like,
Apparently Dallas too. Apparently Dallas is pretty woke.
It's like I don't want to live in some I'm not because I'm planning on moving to Texas in the next hopefully year, hopefully less than that. But I don't want to move to Texas just to deal with fucking wokeness. That's the opposite reason of going to fucking Texas. But the major cities are the same as any major city anywhere else. And it's like they just own the concept. Once there's a city over a certain population, they just turn into woke idiots. And I don't understand it.
But what I meant with that whole little aside was that it was possible to live amongst what would have been woke people. Now it isn't. Now it's like, if these people are like programmed and they're like, they consider themselves like the foot soldiers of this movement, like it's impossible. It's very, very difficult to live around them.
Well, yeah, because what's happened is they had the fringe elements. Because like you said, like there were like weird collective hipsters, but no one paid them any mind.
No, they were like the freakish outliers. We're like, all right, shut up.
Yeah, yeah. And now like they're the ones who run things. They're the ones in power, basically. So those same freakish, outliers, weirdos when you were, a kid in the 2000s. Now they're the ones who run things. Now they're just, that same mentality as the city council or whatever else. And so that's why these cities have become kind of unbearable because of that mentality. Basically, now it's mainstream. It's not just some freakish weird kid who doesn't bathe. I mean, they may not bathe, but
there's not enough pushback from adults.
No, it's not. A lot of people just, unfortunately, too many non-leftists just work and they just go about their day. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, I work and go about my day, right? But they don't they just let things happen. And then before you know it, it's like the boiling frog thing. The pot is like 8 million degrees because it's gradually pushed up because you didn't stop anything along the way. You didn't even challenge anything along the way. And that's a lot of how we got here. Is that, you just go to work. I thought a lot of this crazy leftist shit was internet shit. I thought it was Tumblr. I didn't think it was real.
A lot of people think that, yeah.
And it's like, no, it's real now. It's fucking real. The gender thing, I'll never forget having to explain to my mom this whole gender thing. She just still doesn't get the idea that there's more than two genders.
Yo, I had this thought, dog. This hit me so hard. I was listening to like a Joe Rogan clip, and I remember thinking about how I was like, okay, so I'm like listening to them talk about, this non-binary thing, right? And how there's these people that believe, they're like, there is no man and women. Gender's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
Sexuality's on a spectrum. It's all kind of gray. We're all kind of shades in this rainbow. Those same people are incredibly binary when it comes to politics.
Yeah, they are.
The thing that actually does exist on a spectrum that does have gray, they're like, no, you are on this side or you are on that side. You are with us or you're against us. Like progressive, kind, good person or Nazi. That's it. The non-binary people are the most binary when it comes to politics.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. Yeah. Well, they are, because we've seen them eat their own so many fucking times. It's like, oh, you're not left enough. You're not gay enough. Fucking I can't remember the writer, T. Franklin. She was lesbian, black, all these different check boxes. Disabled, I think. And nope, you didn't make Harley Quinn is still eating box. She's bisexual though. That she's not gay enough.
Right. There's the thing that's actually biologically binary. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That they won't accept that. But the thing that is authentically exists on a spectrum because it's like that's just the nature of it. That is not binary. That is not there's no spectrum there. That is binary. No. You are a all in or you are all out. There's no gray, no in between. There are no middle ground people with them.
You're either Karl Marx or the devil himself.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that is. Well, I don't know if amazing. I would say the word is like.
But it's pretty
horrifying.
Interesting. It's hard, but it's like it gives you insight, right? It's like what we were talking about like a few weeks ago, where it's like they want to take sexuality where it existed and put it where it never was.
Yeah.
Right. So they want to take the actual binary nature of the universe with men and women, and then put the spectrum thing where it doesn't really belong, but then take the spectrum out of the actual political points of view and sort of government, social, like where there really is a spectrum. They want to get rid of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's destroy and replace. That's their entire agenda.
Yeah, it is their agenda because part of it is in the word progressive, right? In their head, we're constantly progressing towards this utopia point. We're progressing towards that point. And so anything, how dare you not do everything you can? And I need to get that as a drop, so I'm not doing a damn quote. But how dare you not do everything you can to push towards this utopia? You have to be racist. You have to be, evil, because we want our intentions are good. So say us. And therefore, everything we do is good, and it's pushing towards this utopia. Therefore, anything outside of that must be evil.
Right, and not the real, or like not like the collectively believed perceived utopia, like in the afterlife, like meaning like being a good person and achieving nirvana, whatever. Like believe what you want, but I mean like that, not that. that is not real. That's all the boogeyman and made up by, evil white men, right? It's like that's the utopia on Earth. That's the one that matters, which time and again has proven will never exist.
Yeah.
It can't exist. It's contrary to the nature of reality. All we can do is our best.
Yeah. That is all we can do.
Yeah, it's never going to be perfect. It's impossible.
And unfortunately, there's no like wiggle room, because if you ever sinned against the Church of Woke, you're damned forever. There's no way to repent.
Well, they also it's like they say you're born with original sin that you can never confess your way out of. You can never. Yeah. There is no. You lose forever. You're born wrong. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's. I was actually going to say this. Utopia does indeed mean no place, which is because no place could ever exist like that. Authoritarianism is old as humans. Constitutional republics are aggressive. Progressive, I mean. But the Agent Decibel says, become a barbarian, reject this nonsense, form your own society. They talk about the parallel economy and the parallel, because of how, like I said, they're so powerful. The leftists, the SJWs, the authoritarians, whatever you want to call them, they now run everything. They run our fucking, we can't watch a TV show without seeing it. We can't watch a sporting event. We can't go to a fucking bar without seeing. It's just everywhere. It is the entirety of existence. It goes through that.
Well, also, what Alex Jones can't bank.
Did they do that to him?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He can't get a bank account because he's not down with the narrative. Didn't commit any crimes. Didn't go to jail. Not down with the narrative. Can't get a bank account.
I know he did that to Laura Loomer.
What the fuck, man? How is that not illegal?
It has to be illegal, but it's they've normalized that. They've normalized unpersoning. I was actually talking about that. I wasn't necessarily talking. I didn't know that happened to Alex Jones, but I'm not shocked.
I mean, I heard that it happened. I mean, I didn't hear it from him, but I heard that it happened.
And I like I said, I heard that happened to Laura Loomer, which is just so scary. It's like, wow, you're not going to allow somebody to bank. You're trying to destroy somebody's function in living. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that, not to give them any ideas, I hope that's not what they plan on doing with a lot of these jab mandates. Like, oh, you can't bank, you can't live in an apartment, you have to, you can't do anything.
If they had their fucking way. I mean, what was it? Howard Stern was like saying, if you don't get the jab, you shouldn't be admitted to a hospital.
Yeah, a lot of people, I've heard that before. And it's like, this fucking jab, this is on my channel, so I can say it. This jab is not, I'm not a doctor, but the jab, as it's been advertised and the information comes out, it prevents symptoms. It does not prevent catching or transmission. This is not an opinion. It's a factual statement, because there are hospitals who have people who have been infected with COOF who have been jabbed.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who have caught COOF from other people who have been jabbed. So
I think there's people who have died from it who have been jabbed.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. So this is not an forbidden room. What are you saying? 5 big credit cards run the world. 2 are controlled by the ADL, cancel culture whisper networks.
I've heard that.
Yeah, they are.
Who was it that was talking about the was it Ryan Long? I think it was Ryan Long who was talking about the ADL has like this sort of list of people who are pre-selected to not be, part of society. Like, they're problematic people that the ADL behind the scenes goes and lets these companies know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's CCP China. That's what this is. The
ADL
CCP.
To me, they're fucking scary. If you can't, their whole point is that you can't talk shit about Jews. You're like, wait a minute. Why not?
That's the entire existence.
Yeah, I can't talk shit about you. Why? Obviously, it's socially unacceptable, and I'm not encouraging racism, but I should be allowed to. Isn't that protected under the First Amendment for me to say whatever the fuck I want without the consequences of government or organization? Wait, now you're saying I literally can't say shit about everyone involved in your whole thing? Wow, that's a little scary.
Yeah, that doesn't increase your thoughts about conspiracy theories. Speaking of
It's
conspiracy,
genuinely a conspiracy. It's not even a theory. It's like they're
Yeah.
saying, no, you can't.
speaking of conspiracies, thank you for subbing Jock and Nerdy. I don't think this is your first time subbing to this channel though. I feel like you've been here before. So thank you for subbing again. I appreciate it because we know YouTube is suppressing. So yeah, thank you for the sub. I don't know where I'm at. I'm close to an evil number, but we're getting there. Yeah, man, this is really fucked up.
It's a wild time, man.
What a time to be alive. What a time to come of age for you to inherit society right now when it's at its like I haven't seen it worse. I mean, I'm sure if you grew up in like the 1920s or something where you barely had running water and shit like that, it was probably worse. But this is wild.
We are approaching like a cyberpunk kind of reality.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it. Like I paid my Amazon credit card bill today, and I was like, I was like, I love Amazon, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, like I was like, almost all my bills go through, almost all the like my consumer purchases are through Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, it's like almost all like the products I have in my house, like with the exception of like perishable groceries and stuff like that. Like I get, you know, like whatever showers, you know, like shampoo and shit like that.
Yeah.
I get, you know, all that stuff. Like and I was like, it's almost like it's becoming the only store. And then I started to think about it. I was like, if they are trying to whittle the world down into just several corporations, it's like, okay, Disney, you have media. Amazon, you have consumer products. You know, it's like Time Warner, whatever. You like whatever. Like you have utilities. It's like
whatever. Yeah, because utilities is cable and stuff.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I don't want to contribute to that.
Yeah.
But
And
that's like, yeah, Mad Max is coming. But it's like it's like that movie Rollerball, where it's like there are not states or countries anymore. There are corporate territories.
Yeah.
Like this is energy state. This is it'll be Amazon state, Disney. You know what I mean? It's almost,
Walmartville.
you know, like it's
Yeah.
almost, it's kind of becoming like that. It's like it's moving towards that one step at a time.
Yeah, and they just spent 2 years destroying all small businesses just in case. So
And they're trying again. They're still trying to do it.
yeah, they're gonna because there's still those damned motherfuckers are still a couple of them left. So they gotta get all the spots they missed. And hell, Luke, here's your father.
Luke.
Shout out to Luke.
Boom.
Yeah, we just talked about Cats earlier, Luke. You missed it. Your favorite singer, Mark Stein.
Oof. God, that's so weird, man.
Yeah.
Then it also, you just have to kind of laugh at the whole cosmic joke of everything.
Yeah,
Like,
you
it
got
just
to
like
laugh
that.
to keep from crying.
Yeah.
The world is wild. This is I never expected things to turn out this way, man. Out of all the scenarios I could have thought playing out, I never thought, the world would be completely shut down and in the hands of authoritarians who are just going to do everything to destroy everything.
And it's like people have been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
This isn't cutting edge, information.
Demolition Man. And the Manites will finish off the small business in favor of Amazon, Disney, and Walmart. You know what else I was thinking about as far as corporations having advantages over humans? The free speech advantage. So, like, I constantly bring up WAP, and people, why you bring up WAP? Because it's basically porn, right? And you have the free. It's not under the
It's
same.
kind of worse
restriction.
than porn, because
Well-
it's more like values, I think, which is it's kind of more infectious. Like porn is like you use it and then it goes away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like but like WAP is more like infectious. Like it's kind of like
It's a part of
programming.
culture. It's a cultural
Yeah.
thing. It's a cultural
And
programming.
Yeah, and it's empowering, right?
Yeah, it's empowering girls to make the guys pull out game weak, but who the fuck is going to raise the kid? Oh, the state will. But no, the reason I get on it is because they're they're not facing any restrictions on YouTube. They're not facing any cultural. I don't even know if there's a fucking disclaimer. There's nothing. There's nothing, yet there are things I cannot say. So that
Right.
free speech for this mega produced major corporation asset, which is all about negatively impacting culture,
Right.
that is completely allowable. But any dissension, even from a very small channel, our own GoGo 13 was in the chat. He had his channel taken away for a little bit. Thank God he got
That's
it back.
right. Hell.
But he had it taken away. So even somebody they use the free speech protection to make sure Cardi B can teach your daughter to be a whore, but GoGo and 13 can't use free speech to talk about anime. Where the fuck is that? How is that fair? It isn't. That's the answer. It's not fair, and you don't really have free speech based
It's not even
upon it.
fair. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And it's just, and it's like, and then all like, Nicki Minaj is like this, paragon of empowerment until she disagrees.
Yeah.
Then they're all flush. They'd flush her down the toilet. If she kept going with that shit, they would have flushed her down the toilet.
Yeah. Did she? What happened with that? It just go.
I think it just fizzled.
Uh,
Their people probably got to her. They're probably like, this is not a fight you want to fight.
yeah. But I don't know that she necessarily got the jab either.
I don't know either, but she hasn't talked about it, so that's all that
Yeah.
really matters. She's not. They don't care whether they act like if Arnold Schwarzenegger gets the jab. It's not about that. It's about repeat the narrative.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
By the way, I don't know if there was more you wanted to go on. I do have a story about the governor.
Okay, yeah. But real quick, we were talking about evil people. Bill Gates owns 500,000 acres of farmland. Why? What for? So we have a limited plant supply. It's so funny how they cry about the resources. There's not enough resources for people while they constantly buy them up and restrict them.
Bro, I was listening to Thomas Sowell,
Yeah.
Basic Economics, and terrifying about like progressive policies and like things like in the Great Depression, there would be this like gallons of milk and all this food that they would throw out, that they would destroy it while people were literally starving because the administration's like mandate was to keep this product at a certain price.
Yeah.
And if they were to allow this to public to have this, it would drop the price, and that's not the mandate. So they have to keep it at it, like to try to keep the economy afloat while people are literally starving. Like these progressive policies to control the market are just killing people, and they're throwing out food at that when people could least afford for it to be thrown out to maintain their not even necessarily their agenda, just their policy,
which is fucking frightening.
Yeah.
And why you should just not trust. This is why you shouldn't trust the government to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not good. They don't do things in order to help people. They do things in order to keep themselves in existence.
But even if they are doing it to help
further.
people, they don't have the means to do it in the way that it needs to be done. Like the market, is its own. It's like nature. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes there's lightning, sometimes there's tornadoes, but
they'll
for the
do
most
it.
part, you can live. You know what I mean? So it's like, but they want to control it, and that ends up creating so much more strife. And we talk about it all the time. Results. They don't analyze the results. They don't go back and look, oh, that didn't work, so let's not do that again.
Yeah, that never happens. That's why in some cases you talk about certain policies. I almost feel like they want them to not work to continue to further their own agenda. Not necessarily the same agenda, which I think it has become that. But I feel like,
And it's cronyism. It's a lot of cronyism.
Yeah.
It's keeping like a lot of these people like friends of friends, lobbyists, giving them money. Like people talk shit about the American cost of insulin. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's an artificially created cost. If we were allowed to compete like on a nationwide market with the cost of insulin, it would go down because it's a lot cheaper in other countries.
yeah, there's a lot of medical stuff that's like that.
A
Or
lot of
it's
stuff like
cheaper.
sugar is like 100% a manufactured cost. Like we pay like 3 times the global average or something like that because it's just a manufactured price.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
One thing that's not fucked up or manufactured, Jake D. Hell, Jake D. He says, hell,
We know-
Coach Craftfires in chat.
Jake D agrees with all these sentiments.
Oh, God, yeah. He probably knows more about it than all of us.
I
both of
find
us.
myself becoming more and more like Jake D.
There you go. There you go.
Just like, yeah, you know what? Free market. Yeah, sure. Like completely unregulated capitalism. I'm with it.
Yeah. Capitalism works. Taxation is death.
Hail.
Yeah.
So do you want to hear Jake D, dude, don't get me started. Do you want to hear about the governor's most recent
Yeah. What's he doing now in these crazy
well, he's pissing people off again.
Oh.
God damn it, Arnold. We used to love you. Why are you doing this to us in your twilight years?
Yeah, you're destroying your legacy. You're like Brett Favre, man.
Yeah, you really are. So Arnold Schwarzenegger slammed for appearing via video at his own €84 is that or pound a ticket show. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been slammed by fans for only what?
It's like $100.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been slammed by fans for only appearing via video link at his show. Watch his apology below. Oh, turn off ad blocking software. No. Fans were fuming as he promised them he would be at an Arnold Sports Festival at Birmingham's NEC. However, he pulled out at the last minute and was due to take part in a live in-person Q&A. In the 74-year-old's defense, he tweeted that his doctor advised him not to go to the show. I am very upset I cannot make it because of my leg condition. I injured my leg, my foot, my calf. The doctor said not to travel, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to beam in every so often during the weekend. You're going to see me on screen, so I'm looking forward to coming next year in 2022. I will be there. On the other hand, you can see why the fans are frustrated for forking out 84 quid for a Zoom call. One user rates, you deliberately waited till the last minute to announce this. Shame on you. We'll be getting a full refund. What? Paid 84 quid to see you on a screen? However, a third person was warned. All right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it was his event and he did a little
Didn't
Skype
show.
call.
No show. And probably, to their the one guy said, you wait till the last minute. He probably knew long enough to cancel, I would imagine.
I would think. Well, I mean, he had to fly and book his travel.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's not like he was on the plane and decided that.
Yeah, so really fucked up. And I see they have the Rocky IV thing. Did you see that?
I was just gonna say no. This is the first I'm hearing of it. It says despite the absence of former Mr. Universe, there were star-studded guests such as Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren. Stallone and Dolph are appearing again as Rocky and Drago in the new director's cut of Rocky IV with 40 minutes of unseen footage, which sounds pretty cool. This is new. I haven't heard about this.
Yeah. They just announced it. I know it's kind of a tangent. Fuck Arnold Schwarzenegger just because. Fuck
I don't care. I mean, that's the whole story.
Yeah.
We covered it.
But they talked about it or they announced it a few days ago, maybe in the last week. They're re-releasing Rocky IV with director's cut with extra footage. I want to say in November, and I'm like, this is actually exciting. We're never going to get new media to be good. We might as well just see just re-release the old stuff.
40 minutes. How long was Rocky IV originally?
I don't know. It's not a short movie.
No,
because it goes
I
to
don't
a
think
lot.
it's a pretty good movie either. If I'm
Whoa,
come on.
Rocky IV is great. Come on.
He solves communism through a boxing match.
Come on, man. Have you no soul? Like Rocky IV is just like.
If we could change.
Yeah. We can all change.
Come on.
Hey, the Soviet Union fell what, like 7-8 years after?
You credit Rocky Balboa?
Not like solely, but he's a part of the change.
Okay.
He was a part of it.
Right. It wasn't doomed economic policy or just, the fact that it's okay.
You need that inspiration that was, pure American capitalism. It was just American as fuck.
I was watching Red Dawn the other night, and it was nice to see a movie that was America and actually depicted our real enemies.
Yeah.
That was nice, even though that's all propaganda too, to essentially fodder for your wars, man. But kind of a little bit, it was just nice to see we're America, they're Russia, fuck them.
Yeah.
That's kind of good.
Fuck communism. That's how it's supposed to be.
And speaking of capitalism, Jock Nerdy just tipped you.
Oh shit! I didn't even see it. Hold on. I was sitting there trying to look up "Hearts on Fire" lyrics to sing, and I couldn't because of Rocky Four, and I didn't even see the tip. Just the tip, and it's $10. That's not a cheap tip. I appreciate the tip. What did
Hell.
Nerdy say? He said, I probably got purged. Oh, stay vigilant. Yeah, you probably did get purged when you were as far as the subs. So thank you for resubbing, and thank you for the tip. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, hell. All right. Well, do you want to watch the Rocky 4 trailer?
Yeah,
All right.
great piece of American film. Actually,
Got
real
it.
quick, I just got another tip
Oh.
from because they're infectious. It's almost like the cool.
Nice.
Man of War 665, neighbor of the beast.
Yep.
On second thought, VW, forget the fucking dress. See what it breeds. Oh boy, you talking about the expand my horizons with a dress and I'll forget the dress. I was never putting on a dress, Man of War, but I appreciate the super chats.
Sadly, I did. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen the
No!
video,
No!
I have that as a drop. I have that as like a sound drop now for my channel.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's so funny. Just his. I know if you guys haven't seen it. When the cocktail lounge one night, I showed an old commercial I did where I wore a dress. Played a boyfriend who was experimenting with dressing like a woman, I guess being pretty. And in the end, there's a reveal where I'm sitting there in the bathroom wearing a dress, and Vigilante did not know that, and he saw it live on the show, and his reaction makes me laugh every time. So
Yeah.
it's just a quick, short little video on my channel.
Yeah, it's only like a minute and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, when I saw that, I thought like, God damn. I know we keep talking like Illuminati, and sometimes it's jokes, sometimes it's not. But like, I heard that they like softened you up, like they do little things to kind of normalize it. So for that one day when you get into the office and they say, "Hey, you want to be in a Marvel movie? Time to drop trial and grab your ankles." That you're already there because they've been tossing stuff at you. Maybe they thought you could be a star, and that's why they were tossing little like, "Hey, be a table,
I have no
show your
idea.
nails, and
You're
then you
so-
could be a Marvel star."
You're so beaten by that point. You're just grateful to have a job.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's so many years, months, and days, and just working and trying to balance like staying in really good shape, like spending all this money on this acting career and like nothing coming in, not even being able to book like shitty student films that are terribly written, can't even book that, and then you finally get a job that pays, and it's degrading, and you're grateful.
yeah, because they've spiritually and mentally beaten you down.
They've beaten you down. They have.
Yeah, I think that's part of how Hollywood gets how it is because they beat down everyone. Once by the time you get to the club, you're defending that club like you know what I mean because you have to fight and grind through it.
Yeah, it's
Shawshank Redemption style, just to get there.
Yeah, it's like what's his name? It's like Reek, from Game of Thrones. Like they just break you down to the point where you're defending the people who made you like this.
Yeah, yeah. And real quick before we do this trailer, because people are going to chat or super chat crazy, which I appreciate. Vigilante Munchausen, aka Darius Munchausen, just says rock on, culture crime fighters, and we shall.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, appreciate it. Oops, they're called grooming. Yeah, they're grooming. They were grooming you, Matt.
Man, I'm an adult, but yes. I mean, it's it's like I don't think there was someone lording over my career who was making it happen. Like it's like I'm not like a Hollywood star.
Your career, but just that class of actor, they groom you all. So then by the time you move up, it's like, hey, put your hand in my pocket.
Yeah, it's it's like that, man. I don't know. There's something about it, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't fun. You know what I mean? That's like when I quit, I was like, thank God. This is way more fun. It's like you desperately, chase this dream. And then like once you stop chasing it, you're like, oh wow, like now you don't have any power over me. It's like this is so much like it's like quitting heroin or something, Suddenly you're a better person, you're healthier, smile more.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Speaking of smile more, to because it's actually starting to get a little late, so it's probably one of the last things we do. Let's see the Rocky trailer after all the hype, because I really want to see it. I don't know if I saw the recut, director's cut trailer.
Let's see.
Russia will now throw its hat into the ring.
It's funny he's not even Russian. He's like Danish or something.
Yeah.
I know I can beat him.
Hey, Paolo, look, maybe the show is over.
You got nothing more to prove.
He thinks he's fighting for the whole country, but his reasons are wrong.
I'm asking, as a friend. Stand in my corner. Just this one last time.
I did not come here to lose.
Perhaps this simple defeat will be a perfect example of how pathetic your society has become.
Dude, I'll tell you what, just watching it, like I haven't seen Rocky 4 since I was a kid, but like this just I'm suddenly back there mentally. Like all of a sudden I was transported to being like 8 years old again.
That's what I mean, man. I'm feeling the same way in a good way. Like, I remember seeing this when I was younger.
Yeah. And this was like, remember the Rocky movies were always on TV.
Yes. I feel like I've seen this on TBS in the 90s at some point, like millions of times, because that's or whatever else network would have just shown a replay of Rocky. I dig this. I dig this being shown like cut as if you've never seen Rocky 4. I love that.
It's true. I'm digging it way more than I expected that I would.
There you go. That patriotism flowing through your veins.
That's right.
Hey, don't do this to me.
Apollo is down.
I cannot be defeated.
Somebody get a doctor in here.
Soon, whole world will know my name. Drago.
He doesn't really sound
I
Russian.
let it happen.
No, he doesn't.
I gotta take everything he's got.
It was the 80s. He sounded foreign. That's all we needed.
Had one
Yeah, that's right.
professional fight, and
Did you ever hear about the time that him and Sylvester Stallone actually sparred for real?
Yeah, didn't he fuck Sly up?
Put him in the hospital.
Okay, yeah, I think I did hear that. Yeah.
After one punch.
Yeah, because he's like a real trained fighter. I think kickboxing or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like really like high
He says,
up.
he's going go full speed, like don't hold back. One rib shot, put him in the hospital.
Jesus.
That's the difference with the pros, dude.
Yeah, in real life, this could have never happened. Drago's way too big.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Well,
like-
yeah, I guess there's not really generally this kind of a height
Not
disparity.
this massive.
Well, there's a guy, Andy Ruiz, who's a heavyweight. He's like this fat
chubby.
Mexican dude who looks
Yeah.
like a dishwasher, but he's a fucking killer.
Yeah, he did win the title a few years ago against a guy who was like way taller than him, Anthony Joshua. So I guess it could happen. It could happen.
I mean, he shocked the shit out of Joshua.
Yeah, he did.
It was a good fight. And there's the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury
it's
fight
this weekend.
3, I think, right? It's the
Third one.
tiebreaker.
Well, not because it was a draw and a loss for Deontay Wilder, so it's not really a tiebreaker.
I think it was a win and a loss.
No, he hasn't. I remember it because it was a draw. It should have really. That's a whole nother argument. But Fury should have won both of those fights. It was the first one was a draw, second one was a decisive loss. But the reason I think it was like a
he
rematch.
fucking knocked him out.
Well, no, second one was wait. No, it was no one got knocked out. He was knocked down. Fury got knocked down.
Oh, yeah, the fight ended in a split draw. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
okay.
a draw. He got knocked down at the end of the fight, but he got up before 10.
Huh.
And then the other fight, Fury won. He stopped him. He didn't knock him out. It was technical knockout. I think they threw in the towel.
No,
but I
but
think it
Fury
was
beat the shit. Fury outboxed him that entire time.
Yes. He
It wasn't
outboxed really
even
in both
close.
fights. Yes.
Yeah, it's true. Deontay Wilder's not a great boxer.
No, he just has one punch.
Yeah, he's so powerful. He's like
Yeah,
LeBron James. He's just huge and athletic, but he's terrible. He's not a good boxer.
No, but he didn't even start boxing until I want to say he was 20, which is way too late
Yeah.
because they usually start him at like 10.
But there was
8,
just
10.
for so long there was no one else for him to box really. Like he was just this giant dude. Like who could beat him?
Yeah, he was just fighting. Yeah, and part of that's just kind of boxing in and of itself, which apparently is getting more ratings. More people are watching the boxing talk.
Heavyweight's fun now. You got Anthony Joshua, you got Ruiz, you got Fury, you got Wilder. It's like suddenly there's like actual people you want to see fight. There's matchups.
Yeah, because for like 20 years there weren't. There was
Yeah,
no
it was.
one,
I mean, Klitschko
Klitschko
was just dominating. You're like, all right, fighting who?
Yeah, he would just fight some slob that you didn't know. Maybe he was a skill, but you didn't care.
And he's technical. He's not fun to watch. He's not like one of these knockout artists. He's not Tyson or something like that. Some like ferocious guy. He's just, you know, a really good technical boxer. You're like, all right. I mean,
this is cool.
I guess that's interesting. I don't know.
This is fine.
All right, let's finish this.
Yeah. Speaking of technical boxing, Rocky.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
One man is dead.
It's suicide. You can't win.
Does that remind you of the Big Pun song? Do you remember that?
What? It's a suicide. It's a suicide.
It was like a drop. There was like a drop in one of those. You can't win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a Big Pun. Yeah. It's suicide. You can't win.
There you go.
When you're gonna have to do things that other people don't think are right, but they're gonna be right for you. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Has the fight been set yet?
It's in Russia.
He went to Russia to fight for America.
Yeah.
All your strength, all your power, all your love, everything you.
One thing, this has always tickled me. They try to show, firstly, like Rocky could just naturally train against this steroided up guy and win. No, he couldn't. Secondly, Stallone is clearly also on steroids. So this idea that
he's the all natural.
Yeah, he's all natural. He's like training in the snow and like, you know, on the farm and in the barn, natty. It's like, no. One, he didn't, and two, if he did train naturally, he would have been murdered. By like
Isn't there some truth in the Russian steroid thing though? Like, wasn't there kind of like sort of a nationwide steroid scandal for the Olympics?
Yeah, for the Olympics, they were doing like they were just tossing everybody on steroids, like everybody.
Well, yeah, the USSR did not give a fuck.
No, they want to win.
Yes, they did, and they didn't care who died to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just another minute.
You know what to do. Do it.
He's not a machine. He's a man. Be more man than him.
I must break you.
Rocky is in serious trouble.
Breathe. Don't be scared.
Get up, you son of a bitch.
Oh, the sluggish you beat. You beat him with heart.
Get up. Get up.
Get up.
Oh wait, is this the one where they have the beach scene?
No, that was the one before. That's Rocky
That was
3 where they do that, and it just showed like a clip of it, like he's thinking about that sensual beach scene.
3 is pretty bad.
Oh man, you're killing me with the Rocky move. Like,
no, it's too stupid. Like, he's got like, this was, I guess, before people knew that wrestling was fake.
yeah, so he's fighting like Hulk Hogan.
He's like, and it's like, yeah, right. Like, they're just gonna let their prize fighter, like one of the biggest boxers in the world, is gonna get thrown around the ring for promotion. Really? All the people who have like millions of dollars attached to this guy are like, what happens if he breaks his leg? Big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Almost done. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope they show if he dies, he dies. They didn't. Because that's the meme now.
That was the meme then.
No, but I mean, it's like a legit meme.
Yeah.
So like that would have been very culturally aware if they showed that in the.
Yeah, I was waiting for it in the trailer when they would show the part where Apollo. They're gonna do if he dies, he dies, and they didn't.
If he dies, he dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Wrestling is fake. Damn it, Matt. Spoilers. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert for the entirety of wrestling ever.
Yeah. Yeah, for life, for existence.
Yeah.
I
Spoiler
apologize.
alert, life sucks.
Yeah. It's all a work. Everyone's a jobber.
Yeah. Yeah, we are all jobbers nowadays,
That's right.
unfortunately. But
That's
you guys are
right.
not jobbers. You guys are awesome.
See, okay, so with the Rocky movies, I guess we'll wrap up with this topic.
Yeah.
Like Rocky 1 is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like Rocky 1 is incredible. Like, but it's more about the guy. Like, it's more about this sort of like knock around guy. Like, there's a bit of a leap in logic that this dude would like he'd ever show up on this guy's radar. But whatever. Well, if you can accept that little bit, and he's got to fight, what's his name, Apollo.
Even that's not a leap because they do take those like bunny fights. Where like, okay, it's time to fight a bum. That no one
apparently
knows.
that really happened. Apparently, it's based on that guy who fought
Chuck Webner fought Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
that's what it's based off of.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's where Stallone got the idea from.
Yeah,
But yeah, but it's such a good movie, and he's like this kind of, he's a tough guy, but he just sort of does stuff for the mob, but reluctantly.
Yeah,
like he doesn't like doing it, and he's like, just kind of like this sensitive dude who's like in love with this weird girl, works at a pet shop. You know what I mean? Like it's very like organic and sweet, and the boxing is part of it, but it's just kind of more like the vehicle how this character needs to evolve. 2 is just the same movie. It's just literally just Rocky 1 done again. Then 3, they're trying to up it, make it more relevant, throw the kids in there, and it's like, all right, this is ridiculous. I mean, you have Mr. T, but it's a little over the top. Now, I don't like. I just think back on 4, like I liked it when I was a kid. But I liked a lot of things when I was a kid that I don't like now.
Man.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like that got me excited. Like I do want to watch it.
There we go. Like I want to watch it too, and I actually probably will go to theaters to see it. My thing in
it's
defense
be in
of
theaters.
Yeah, I think it's in theaters. I think it's theater.
That's cool.
I'm sure they'll probably release physical copies or digital, everywhere else as well. But like, okay, I agree with you because the first Rocky is a really good movie. If there were no other Rocky films, it would still exist as this really good film. And I like the second one. Like you said, the second one's kind of just repeating the first. Mm-hmm. And then the third and the fourth are the over the top, more like, they're almost action movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though they're not, technically, they're technically about boxing and these characters. Everything is through the action 80s lens. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And in some ways, the establishment and the fortifying of that lens. So I get where it's like it's a different. It almost switched genres. You know what I mean? Where.
Yeah, it got more elevated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just was reading that it's coming. It will be in theaters on November 11th for a limited time.
Yeah, and
that's kind of cool.
This is my thing. They're popcorn movies. You always felt good after the credits. That's kind of what I thought. Like when you go through Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, you have fun. I'm not looking for. I guess because the first Rocky is so like, at times like very like sensitive and acting based and character based. To see just like, like you said, he's getting thrown around by Hulk Hogan and then he's fighting Mr. T who's over the top and everything is over the top and there's montages and it's just like, but it's like, it's a different, like this is almost a different genre. It's trying to achieve different goals than the first 2 films.
Which is okay. I think that's fine. Like when you go from movie to movie, if you want to try different things, I think that's okay. I think that's kind of bold. I mean, even Rocky 5, they tried the street fight.
Yeah.
As I recall, it was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, people hate Rocky 5.
As well they should. Should.
It was really that bad. I only saw it one time on cable when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. But I just remember it being stupid. I remember there's something with they were fighting. It was just dumb.
I remember the angel on my shoulder line.
It was dumb. It was dumb because you know why it was dumb? They had already had this over the top view, and then they were trying to reground it, but it still had some of the over the top wackiness.
Yeah,
and it was tonally weird. They had the fake Don King guy. It was just a weird tone altogether. An absolutely weird tone.
Oh, yeah. It says, like, Balboa discovers that the fortune he had acquired as a heavyweight champ has been stolen and lost in the stock market by his accountant. His boxing days over, Rocky begins to coach an up-and-coming fighter named Tommy Gunn. Rocky cannot compete, however, with the high salaries and glittering prizes being offered at Gunn by other managers in town. Yeah, so it's like Rocky's not even fighting.
Yeah, I mean, he does fight at the end.
Yeah, does he fight this young fighter or whatever? Is that what it? Yeah, he does.
I think he fight, but it's in the street. For the streets.
Isn't that guy a real fighter though?
Tommy Morrison, he was a real fighter.
Yeah.
Didn't something happen to him? I'm not sure if he's around.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tommy Morrison as Tommy. Yeah, he died in 2013 in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, I thought he passed. I can't remember why. I want to say something.
Oh, he had HIV.
Was it that? Yeah, sounds right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep, Jock Nerdy, he got AIDS.
Now, was he a homosexual, or was he? Is probably just judging by his muscles in the images I just saw, is probably intravenous drugs. It's probably steroids.
Could have been. I didn't think about that.
He's fucking big in Rocky. I'm looking at those pictures. I'm like, he doesn't look like a boxer.
He looks massive. He was very huge.
Looks swollen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, would you like to wrap it up, my good man?
Yeah, I do gotta wrap it up, unfortunately. Gotta get to work. But I appreciate everyone. A lot of you guys made the jump with us. So thank you all for here, because we started off a little meager, but a lot of super chats, a lot of people in the chat. So thank you, Jock Nerdy, Snorter Poopis, Man of War, Pat S, the Art Right. I haven't seen you. Thank you. Rather see this or classic movies in theater than any new Marvel tribe. Yeah, that's another thing. I think more movies might follow this lead and try to do a re-release of. I mean, they did it back in the 90s with the Star Wars movie, so it's not completely unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It's kind of fun, nostalgic. Well, they did that during Coof, didn't they? They released like Star Wars and stuff like that. And like for a while, they were the top grossing movies in the country.
Yeah, they're all these older movies, but like this, they're putting a whole marketing thing into, and 40 extra minutes. I mean, we might see director's cuts of a lot of movies.
That's long.
Like,
God,
that is long. I can't imagine all 40 of those minutes are quality.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to sit in a theater for that long. The last movie I sat there that was that long, I think, was the Blade Runner movie.
Yeah.
And that was a long time to be sitting watching one movie, man.
Yeah.
Without, you know.
All right.
Anyway.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody being here. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged, share, subscribe. Please do so. Please sub to my man Foulball Productions if you want to see this show next week, because it will be on his channel.
Hell. Yeah. And if you like the show, you know what I mean? Just tell a friend. You know, even if it's in our little fellowship, just, you know, in a message board or whatever, you know, because it's tough for shows like this for our channels to grow, especially via a live stream. So it's like relying on word of mouth is really important at this stage. And, you know, me and Vigilante are both working on kind of like gaming the algorithm and getting our subscriber base up. But there's only so much we can do. So if you guys can, you know, just mention it to a friend you think someone might like it. If you like this, if you found the show entertaining, would really be helpful. And you can always catch us outside of YouTube on Spotify or iTunes or Google Podcasts. Anywhere you find podcasts, we put the Culture Crime Fighters up usually the next morning. So if you missed any of this and you want to just listen on your way to work on audio or whatever, it's a way you can do it.
All right, yeah. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Tell a friend and tell a friend. We're still trying to grow. And hopefully there'll be clips of this podcast. That helps.
Right on.
So, all right, guys. We will see you all later. Peace.
Peace. Bye.